cry if I want to.
You would cry too if it happened to you.
Do, 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 do. Welcome, everyone, to
Welcome to another lovely episode of Turn of the Millennials. I'm Lindy.
I'm Stephanie, and it's our sweet 16th episode. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
We've made it this far. We feel so old now. We could finally get our
What?
license.
Oh my gosh, which I did not even get my G1 until I turned 17.
19 or sorry, 18 because I needed it for ID for the bar.
That's fantastic. I had no reason to get my license at 16 because like a bunch of my friends already drove. My sisters drove. Like my parents would drive me. Bus was right there. Didn't need it.
I was the same. We didn't need it at all. Like we had a good bus infrastructure here in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I also lived out in buttfuck new subdivision nowhere. So my parents had to drive us everywhere else, and we took the school bus to school.
That
so
subdivision, if you like go down your street, hang a right and go all the way up the hill and then hang another right, there's like a cul-de-sac where there was like no houses right there. Beautiful lookout point.
Before they put a retirement home up there?
Did they?
I think there's a retirement home up there now.
Haven't been up there since you lived there like 20 years ago?
Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah, we moved in there in like grade 9.
Oh, like 15. Because you lived there till you were like 22?
Oh, 2005 or 6. Around the time we actually had this podcast, you know.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was already.
That'd be my deal.
So yeah, you're about 2021 when you moved out of there, so
20 because it was with Fraser. So yeah, as we said, this is our Sweet 16 episode. So we're just gonna kind of talk about all things Sweet 16, the TV show, birthday parties, what Sweet 16 is,
our own Sweet 16s.
Yeah, everything about it, because who didn't love turning 16? Like it was, as a kid,
so forward to it.
It was what you were waiting for. If it wasn't 13 because you were so first it was 2 digits when you got to 10, then it was 13
both hands.
You were officially a teenager at 13, but 16 was when you felt like you were an adult almost.
Although I do want to say, even though you're like at that super awkward stage of your life at 13, 14 years old, I still think that was like the best time because you were old enough to be independent, not need your parents as much, but you weren't expected to get a job yet
or be mature.
Or be mature. You could still blame like your immaturity on the fact that you're still 13.
You're still a kid.
Like, other than like the awkward body things that go on at 13 and 14, I feel like that was probably the best time of my life.
But it's all part of that awkward phase. So we all had to go through it.
So, and isn't like 16 such a big letdown sometimes?
It really is, because you're so like, you look forward to it for so long, and then it comes and you're like, this is it.
I feel the same.
This is all it was.
Don't feel older.
Right.
And like people still treat you the same. You're still treated like a kid, and you're like, you think you're a grown up, but guess what? You still have 2 more years till you're legally an adult. So you're still a kid. And
in Ontario, we have a graduated system, so you can't even drive by yourself. You can get your G1 at 16, and you have to have that for a year or 8 months if you took driver training.
Yes.
So you still
highly recommend driver training to all of you 16-year-olds out there.
So you really don't get to be fully independent until 17. That's when,
or 19 if you're me. I didn't get my G2 till I was 19.
G1 when I freaking ate literally 29 days before I turned 19 because I needed ID for the bar.
Mine was 4 days before I turned 19. And it was because I needed to buy alcohol that weekend for my 19th at the trailer. Even though Tiffany probably would have bought it for me anyway, because
which makes for a perfect segue, Lindy, because who had to buy the alcohol for my 16th birthday?
I did. I fucking remember that too.
Taryn actually did, remember?
Oh yeah, because I was 19 and I was 18.
It was you, me, Taryn, and her friend who had the car. I can't remember who it was. But she went in, and because she was January, so you were there, but she went in and got it for us on our 16th birthday.
She's actually January 82, so like she's a year older than me.
So I remember, she would go in, she bought all the stuff for us, and then I think that Friday night or whatever, when we had the party, she had it like in her locker or something, and it was hilarious. My 16th birthday was.
So much stuff happened that night.
I know
so much. Like I only remember really like maybe 3 or 4 specific things though.
So earlier in the week we got the alcohol. My mom was going to the trailer for the weekend, so we had to open it up for the season. There was no parents there. We didn't have to worry. But my mom said beforehand, "We're leaving you alone, and I don't want you to have any alcohol at this party," which she knew anyway.
Come on, Deb. Like, right? You knew.
She
just wasted your breath.
I think we were normal.
She wanted to say it, so she had a clean conscience for when she knows you're gonna disobey it.
Plus, she also knew
so she still covered her parenting basis.
The most part, we were pretty good kids, so she was probably just like, "Oh, it's probably not going to happen because they're good kids."
We rarely ever got in trouble. Like we weren't
hooligans.
We weren't the worst. Like, yeah, we weren't hooligans.
It turns out that day, actually, I was feeling sick, and I had to go to the clinic before my party or something, and all of a sudden I think I came back and everybody was like all of a sudden just there or something, because I remember I had like swollen glands that night, so then I ended up not wanting to drink that much.
End up having mono?
I don't think it was mono. I think it was strep. I think
strep. Yeah, it was strep.
So I didn't end up really wanting to drink, because if I did, it was every time I swallowed, it was hurting because my glands were so swollen.
Throat, yeah. Which really sucks because it's your 16th birthday.
Right?
Like,
I was so sad.
That sucks.
So on that note, all of my friends decided to drink for me. And that also includes Lindy.
Someone drank extra hard for you.
Extra
and
hard.
You never thanked me for that.
I mean,
that was terrible.
Lindy, okay. I believe it was a full bottle of butter ripple schnapps.
Okay, so this night was the night that I drank the alcohol that I would never, ever drink again, ever. So we started out the night, so I was 18, I was going to be 19 in a few months. So the majority of people there were between like 16 and 19. And I had started drinking, I think at like 7:30 because I was just bored and I wanted to start drinking. So I started drinking at 7:30 with a Mike's Hard Lemonade. I had 2 of those within, I'm going to say a half an hour, I believe, ish.
Which maybe doesn't sound like that fast, but still it's enough.
Then I gave myself some time. Yeah, I gave myself maybe like 20 or 30 minutes. And I cracked open the bottle of butter ripple schnapps, a 26er, a 26 ounce, which is what we call a 26er. And I drank straight from that bottle. Not with a straw or anything. I just literally drank from the bottle. I didn't have a cup. I carried that bottle around with me while I drank it for the next 45
Like a baby almost. Like a baby, just holding it.
So during these 45 minutes, I had to rescue one of our friends from the neighbor's house across the street,
which was
because she was very lacking in judgment in her inebriated state.
They were some younger guys. They weren't too old. They were about the same age as us. I think they went to our high school.
Still too old because they were over 18, and these friends of ours were still under 18. They were still minors, and as the 18-year-old at this party, I felt responsible while I'm carrying around my bottle of butter. So I barge over there. I knock on the door, guy answers. And I'm like, hey, is so-and-so here? They're like, yeah, she's here. I'm like, where is she? Like, she's in I go get her right now. And they're like, okay. And they went and got her. And she got mad at me. And I was like, bitch, I'm saving your fucking life. Let's go.
They were neighbors too across the way. So I sort of knew them, but they didn't.
But I didn't. They didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't trust them. And in my inebriation, when I get drunk, I'm extremely truthful. Truth syrup, kind of truthful. Anyway, so I go back to the house, and I'm about 45 minutes into drinking this 26er. I'm probably about almost done it. I'm laying on the couch, and I'm like, oh God, I think I'm going to puke. So I roll off the couch. This part I don't remember because Mandy told me this like a few days later, that she was standing in the kitchen, which was like right where I fell off the couch or rolled off the couch. I grabbed onto her leg, and I said, bathroom. So she dragged me across your kitchen floor to the bathroom, which was like 10 feet away. And I proceeded to Ralph on the porcelain throne until I guess you guys called my sister to come and get me.
I can't remember how your sister came into play, but yeah, somehow
I'm in the bathroom.
A cell phone, right?
Kyla did, but you didn't. I don't know if I did or not.
But I still knew.
No, I didn't get mine until I was 19.
Okay, so we would have called your home phone line then, because we wouldn't have known your sister's cell phone if you didn't have one. So we would have called your home phone.
Do you know what? I think I vaguely remember giving you the number, because I think I'm the one who told you to call her.
Okay.
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
I still to this day know your home phone number, and I can say it, but I'm not going to, because your parents don't have it anymore, do they?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so I'm not going to say it. But I still remember it too to this day. And so that's why I said I would have called your home phone line, because that's the one I knew for sure.
But yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm the one. Like, I gave you her number while I'm Ralphing in the toilet. And so then all of a sudden I hear my sister come into the door, and she walks in and she goes, are you fucking kidding me? Look at you guys. It's like 10 o'clock.
She's only a year and a bit older than Lindy.
15 months older than me.
Yeah, so she's not much older.
She just turned 20.
Yeah.
She just turned 20. Or maybe I was turning 17.
Just her friend Rhiannon?
Rihanna? Oh, Rihanna was there? Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah. It was the two of them.
I remember she held me out of the bathroom. You guys gave me a bucket. She took me home.
Well, and this is where before she complained to all of us, like, y'all are just stupid little whiny people, like y'all drunk. It's not even like, 10, not amateurs. Even 10 o'clock. You amateurs are passed out drunk. And not all of us were. It was mostly Lindy. The rest of us were drunk, but we weren't.
I didn't know my limits back then. Trust me, I learned them after this night. So
and
just
the Wasaga Beach spider bite night too.
Yeah.
You learned them after that one. So those are the two terrible instances Lindy learned her drinking.
That story for another episode.
Yes.
So she took me home, and just like the best sister that she is, or one of the best sisters that she is, she put me to bed with a garbage bag on my side, like facing the edge, with pillows behind my back so I didn't roll over and like swallow my own vomit and die. She set out 8 glasses of water and a garbage can, gave me aspirin, and then she went back to the party that she was at when you guys called her, alone, because my parents were at the cottage and my oldest sister had moved out at that time. So she left me alone. She probably should have taken me to the hospital to get my stomach pumped, because
Monday morning,
this was a Friday party.
Lindy was still hungover to shit on Monday at school.
Oh my God. I wore my sunglasses all day. And when my teachers were like, take off your sunglasses, and I'm like, I am hungover since Friday. No.
Secretly, she had a bucket in her locker because she was like gonna puke at all times.
The best was the next morning around like 10 o'clock. My mom called to check in on us because it was me and Kyla staying at home. So I hear Kyla go, "Hey mom, yeah, no, she's home. You'll never guess what she did last night." And my mom's like, "Well, what?" And she's just like, "She's so hungover right now." I guess my mom was like putting me on the phone, because the next thing I know, Kyla's bringing me the cordless, she makes me. We didn't have the cordless at that point. She makes me get out of bed and go to the kitchen to get on the landline too. And I'm like, "Hello," and she's like, "How much did you drink?" I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, "Do you feel like shit?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "That a girl. Ask her and go back to bed."
Oh, your mom.
I love my mom. My mom's awesome.
She's funny. However, I will admit my mom was also pretty cool too, because she was the reason that Lindy was able to get smokes. She would never buy it for me and my sister. Like at the trailer, she would never buy it for me and my sister. But if Lindy and Taryn went up and asked for a pack of smokes, absolutely, she had no problem. My mom was hilarious. It was a different time.
That was a long fucking time ago.
20 years ago. Come on now.
I still remember the day we went to go get the alcohol. It was this shady fucking liquor store. Like, it wasn't even an LCBO.
It was Highland. It was an LCBO, but it was a small LCBO on Highland across.
Oh, it was in a shady as fuck spot. I remember that. And we were sitting in the car waiting for her, and I'm like, "Guys, we're gonna get fucking shot. Like, we gonna get shivved. Like, come on. Like, Taryn, hurry up. Let's go."
And then she had to go to the beer store again later or something, because we only had alcohol and someone else wanted beer.
And then your mom comes home the next morning.
So no, not the next morning. So we clean up the house.
Oh yeah, because they were at
fine. Yeah. Oh, actually, the next morning it was the 3 girls. We were sitting upstairs watching the porn on the bed, drinking beer. That you missed that one because you were at home. So the next morning, there's a bunch of us slept over or whatever, and for some reason, they found my stepdad's old porn videos, or so they for some reason wanted to put them on. So they popped them the VHS in. Yeah, VHS. I said that. They popped the VHS in, and they just we had pizza or whatever left over, so they're just sitting on there, cracked a beer, eating pizza, watching this like 70s porn, and I'm just like, oh, my friend,
probably like full muff.
We're just yeah, and I'm just like, my friends are hilarious. So after that, we're cleaning, we clean, everything's fine. Sunday night, my mom comes home, nothing, whatever. Monday morning, they go to take the garbage out because that was our garbage day. My mom picks up a garbage bag in the garbage, and it's just filled with empty beer bottles.
Too stupid to realize you should have taken them back to LCBO for exchange.
I was 16. I was still probably couldn't have. Like,
I know Tara could have though.
Right. She was probably inebriated too. She probably had no idea.
Probably.
I ended up not getting in trouble, but my mom was just like, "I told you no parties, and you left the evidence in the garage." I was like,
well, "Come on, Deb.
At least I cleaned up, and at least we were good. Up. You didn't hear anything." Like,
did you ever get in trouble after throwing a party for cleaning up too well?
And all because
how me and my sisters got caught. We cleaned the house too fucking well, right. And my mom's like haunches went up. She's like, "You guys had a party." Yeah, we sure fucking did.
That's hilarious. So Sweet 16s, just as a little quick synopsis, they're mostly celebrated within USA, Canada, and usually by the ladies, but sometimes guys will have like a fly 16, maybe not a sweet 16, but they'll have a super 16, or they might have something fun, whatever.
There's a few guys that were on the Sweet 16 episodes.
Oh, that as well too, because like I said, it's the monumental. So basically it's the earliest stage of being an adult, the minimum age to obtain your driver's license. And in most cases, like it's time to get your first job, because you get your SIN number up here, your SIN number, to be able to get your first job.
It's like you're in like the home stretch of adolescence. Right. Like adulthood is right there. You can taste it. So and it's 2 years away.
Right. It's very similar to
and back then time like moved slower.
It did. It really did. So they're also similar to in Jewish, you've got a bar and a bat mitzvah. I know they're 13, but it's still a when you come of age ceremony. Premise, yeah. In the Hispanic community at 15, it's a quinceañera. And also in the Victorian,
fun word to say, quinceañera.
Quinceañera.
I so wish I had one. I watched the episode of Wizards of Waverly Place where Alex Russo had hers.
Yes,
because her mom never had one, so she switched bodies with her mom, so her mom could have a quinceañera of her own. And so I'm like, cute. Oh my god, I want one. The big puffy pink dress and like,
or the gypsy wedding, my big fat gypsy wedding, when that was on TLC. Yes. They had the same thing, those huge gowns.
Those were awesome.
Sweet 16s are also kind of thought to have originated in a Victorian era, very similar to the debutante balls. So they were the
coming out.
Exactly. The coming out of the ladies.
Presenting them to society.
You know, they are available to groom and court, I guess, whatever, you know, old Victorian areas used
to
be.
They can now be escorted and their good marital status.
And wooed.
Good breeding backgrounds.
So 16 has been kind of pivotal. They said we had a TV show called on my MTV, My Super Sweet 16. A lot of sitcoms.
It was great.
Right. A lot of sitcoms celebrate it on their TV shows as well, because when you're a kid, it's just, that is your pivotal aimed moment. It's just where you want to be as 16.
Remember that episode of Full House when fucking DJ forgot Kimmy's 16th birthday because it was her 6-month anniversary with Steve, or like 6 weeks or something?
No,
I think it was 6 months.
Chicks before dicks. I know it's a little bit, but like, come on, you don't forget your best friend that you've known forever's birthday because of some stupid bros. 6, right?
Pose over bros.
Pose over bros. Clothes over bros. Clothes over bros.
Suppy Davis. Yeah, that episode. I can't believe, like, how would you forget your best friend's like 16th birthday?
Right. You don't.
You're all wrapped up in your boyfriend.
Monumental. There's no reason to miss the monumental ones. Ever.
I can't believe they fooled her for as long as they did.
Well, what does that say about Kimmy though? Unfortunately,
I know, right?
Poor girl.
Whatever. I loved her in the reboot though. She's fucking amazing.
She was. They did make her a lot more.
They smart. Redeemed her character.
She was still goofy, but she was just funny and smart now.
Yeah, she wasn't like, you weren't laughing at her stupidity. She was well aware of what she was saying. She was just really funny. And like, she didn't really say stupid things. It was just,
and her brother was funny. Yeah. I liked her brother.
Oh my god, I loved Jimmy. Like,
it was so funny.
I fucking loved him and Stephanie in that song. I listen to that song like every day.
They're so cute.
So good. Boy Next Door, so good. Love you, Jodie Sweetin.
Super Sweet 16. So it was on MTV. It actually aired for 10 seasons. It had 94 episodes from 2005 to 2017.
Damn.
Right? I didn't think it was on that long, but apparently
I literally thought it had like 4 seasons.
Nope, 10 seasons, 94 episodes. I watched one on the City TV or CTV app. They have one season. It's one of the newer ones. Obviously, I think season 9.
I'm so freaking downloading that. I haven't yet, but
it's free. It's free. Do it.
I'm so watching those. I'm gonna do that and like
before this,
my TV.
I had to watch it because I was like, I at least need to watch one episode before this. And I could see why I liked it back in the day, but now it's just like these spoiled little brats. I can't fucking stand you. I can't watch this anymore.
Do you know what? It's going to be funny because like now that I'm like approaching 40 and I see them and I have kids these age now, or almost like my stepson's going to be 15 in a week.
You got a year till he's this point.
And I was only maybe 22 when this show came out, 21, 22 when the show came out. I was still very close to being a teenager, so I could still see it from these kids' point of view, even though I did think they were being brats. But now I'm just going to dread watching it probably now as an adult, but I can't wait to watch them. I can't wait to see what my opinion is now.
Like, it is funny. It is funny because I'm like, man, if I were these kids, I would totally want these freaking huge ass parties. And I wish my parents had this money to throw these ball and ass parties.
But the ungratefulness of these freaking twits, like,
because you're spoiled brat, you're ungrateful for the fact that you're like, I need to have this, and it's like, no, you don't need to have it, you want it. Like,
so I do remember one episode does stick out in my mind because it was such a great story that this girl and her brother were adopted by this rich couple when they were like 13 or 14 or something like that. I think he is older than her by like a year, but she was turning 16 this year. So they've only been adopted, I think, for like a year or two at this point. So I think that was the first episode I saw where she really wasn't, what's the word?
Entitled?
No, she wasn't acting entitled or spoiled in any way. Well, I mean, she might have like a little bit, but it was fractions compared to the other casts that have been on this show.
Yeah.
The other birthday girls and boys that have been on this show.
So
like, I was just like, because she knows what it's like. She was in foster care until she was like 14. So
exactly. So she's going to be a little more grateful for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So of these kids, they had kids from USA, Canada, and UK with wealthy parents, and they also had some celebrities on. So like Bow Wow, Ali and AJ, Chris Brown celebrated on the show. The theme song was actually provided by Hilary Duff. Some parties included quinceañeras, Sweet 16, Swag 18, and Super Sweet 21s. It had spawned 2 spin-offs. There's Exile, where kids from Sweet 16 were sent to a remote country to survive.
Oh my God, I need to watch that. Is that on CTV?
I didn't find it. I don't know. I'd have to
go that would be fantastic to watch.
And then there was another
watching rich brats get what they deserve.
Then there's another one that said the other spinoff was The Real Deal, and I couldn't find what that one was about. There was a 2009 movie franchise called My Super Psycho Sweet 16, and it had 3 installments. It was more of like a horror spinoff of the Super Sweet 16, and it was a movie. And then Jennifer Lawrence was actually in her on-screen debut was in the commercial for a fake party for this TV show.
Huh.
Yeah. It was in 2005. This was her like on-screen debut as a commercial for My Super Sweet 16.
Interesting.
I did see it. I found it out in the interwebs.
Good for her.
It was kind of funny to see it. She was little, tiny,
Gotta start somewhere, right?
We all do. And it's usually in commercials. It's usually where they always start. Yeah. So the one in obviously from 2005 to 2017, like it drastically changed because in 2005, we didn't have the stuff. So the one I watched, like it was a newer one, either season 9 or season 10. So the girl was like an influencer sort of. So she's like, oh, I want to have one of my followers.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna fucking hate this. I'm really gonna hate this.
It did, even if you watch from the first to the last season, it evolved as well too, just because our world evolved over these years.
Yeah,
with technology and the rise of the influencers, because they're interesting shows. They're funny to watch. It's like going back and watching Pimp My Ride. Those are
that was a great show, but I enjoyed watching. I'd watch like the beginning where they'd show like the shit car, and then I would make sure, and then I'd like flip it to something else, and then make sure I click back within like 7 minutes to spare before they reveal it.
I read an article about it, like one of the kids who had one of the things afterwards, and he's like, it took like you were 6 months without your car while they were working on this thing.
Didn't happen in like
overnight. Like
it wasn't a weekend.
And then a lot of the cool stuff, it was only in there for the show. And then when they gave you the car, they took some of that cool shit out, like some of the DVD players or some of that stuff. So it was like, he was still like, yeah, it was cool to have the cool ride, but some of those really cool features didn't come out, or they didn't function, or it still kind of broke afterwards because it was a lot of cosmetic versus actual.
Did you have a car that functioned? Yes. Shut up.
Not for much longer though. That was the thing. Because a lot of it was more cosmetic versus actual engine if it needed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's Exhibit? Exhibit's the one that shame on you, Exhibit. If you had anything to do with it. If not, I apologize. I'm sorry. But shame on you, Pimp My Ride. Shame on you.
That's what happened in the era of all the reality shows. You wanted to be on it to become famous or to get something cool, but you did not really read the fine print or what the
style, no substance.
So what was your Sweet 16 birthday like?
Okay, so my Sweet 16 was really like the only birthday party I had with my school friends.
Okay.
So I was, because I remember I was going to the trailer that weekend for that long weekend, but I don't think my birthday I think it was in the middle of the week. So I wasn't actually going to be at the trailer for my birthday. So I wouldn't actually have been spending my birthday with my trailer friends like I have every 15 years or every year for 15 years. So my friend Michelle invited me to a sleepover at her house for my birthday. She's like, yeah, like we'll get a cake and my parents will cook us dinner and we can like go to a movie or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but she lived in Cambridge at this point. So
yes,
it was a pretty far
trek
drive.
To go.
Like, yeah, so I would have to check with my parents. And of course they were like, yeah, of course we'll take you.
And that was before the bus went to Cambridge as well, too.
Yeah, so
you couldn't get to Cambridge.
So this was
I was 16 when it came in.
This was 2000.
Yeah, the summer I was 16, I was dating Will, and that was the first summer that it came in, because I was able to actually go to Cambridge to visit him, and that was the first summer they had did it. So yeah, when you were 16, it would have not quite been there yet. So it was so hard to get to Cambridge back then. Like you had to get a car ride there.
Yeah. So of course my parents drove me, and so I get there, and she was like, "Come up to my room." She's like, "I want you to open my present right now." And so I was like, "Okay." So I went upstairs, and we went into her room. All of my other friends popped out, and like, surprise, like there's like 5 other girls, like all my clique in high school. And I was my first initial thing was like, I didn't scream or anything, but I was like, oh, like a surprise. I'm like, you guys are jerks. And her mom was like, really, Lindy? I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't like being surprised, but it was a really nice surprise. I really loved it. So then I opened presents and stuff, and I actually I'm looking at the gift that she gave me. It's still right. It's right there. I still have it. But yeah, so I remember we rented Man in the Iron Mask, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo.
Leonardo DiCaprio's.
Yes.
And I wasn't a Leo DiCaprio fan. Like I liked him, but I wasn't like, oh yeah. And when I was 16, I think it was Howie D from Backstreet Boys, or Lance from NSYNC. But yeah,
Hanson, Zach, because it was just before your Jacob obsession. Just before it.
This is true. Yes, this is true. I think.
So it would have been Zach.
Maybe the band would have been coming out very shortly after this. But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then like we had cake, we all had a sleepover. Like it was an awesome time, and I fucking loved it. It was so much fun.
Let's be real. Sleepovers for birthday parties were always the best.
Oh, sleepovers are amazing. And okay, on all those cliche sleepover things, like drawing on the first person to fall asleep or freezing her bra, whoever is the first one to fall asleep. My friends and I never did that to each other. Like you fall asleep, you fall asleep. We might, I don't know, like,
or we'd all go to sleep together, because we'd all just be like, okay, guys.
We might scare you to wake you up because it would be funny. Like we might do something like that, but we would never like put your hand in warm water or like whip cream on your hands and then tickle your face. Like we wouldn't do shit like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. And no, we did not have like pillow fights in our bras and panties either.
Or in those little teddies.
Fellas. Sorry, fellas. It was flannels. We were in our sleeping gowns. Zit cream.
We were under legal age. Why are you thinking of that at all?
No, I meant at 16.
No, not you. But I mean, like when as men, why are you still thinking of us as that? Because we're still only 16 years old. Like that's still kind of, a little creepy.
I was more so talking to the guys who are like 16 right now who still think that that's true.
No, we want comfort over any of that stupid.
I am
lingerie.
Always comfort over style.
Lingerie is not fun for like actual normal wear. It's only for sexy like 5-minute wear.
Well, unless you're wearing a corset as a shirt, yeah, you're fine.
But even at that, sometimes you don't want to, because that boning for too long is like,
oh my gosh, yes, like that Halloween. Yeah, that was, we'll talk about that in our Halloween episode. But
a couple more weeks. Oh my gosh, it's hard to believe that Halloween. I saw that it was like 14 weeks till Christmas, and I was like, oh gosh.
Your face.
I was like, I'm gonna have to start getting on that, I guess. Yep. Yeah, it's that time. We're getting into the fall, which approach soon.
We had Christmas. The kids last weekend, and I was like, guys, Christmas lists. I want them by the next time you are here.
Get it early. Christmas get it done. Lists. Get it done early. I don't blame you.
You're like, but I don't know what I want. And I was like, then pay attention when you're scrolling through your social medias to the ads that are being drawn to your account. Because on my Facebook feed, I see shit I want to buy all the fucking time.
No, here's the thing. They know what they want. Their kids, they just like they're this generation.
Unless it's like right in front of them, they
don't know. They can't, they don't understand. I don't know if they don't have the recall memory as well as we do, because you know how us, we had to recall, like we did all these drills in school.
Their life refreshes every 30 seconds.
Well, and not only that, they don't.
So why do they need the memory?
They don't need to.
They have Facebook to remind you.
They have a calculator on their phone. Why do they need to know 5 times 7 off the top of their head? Like that's what I mean. I don't know if their memory muscle, recall muscle is as used as
their brains are definitely evolving in a different way than ours did.
Absolutely.
Sure. And that's normal amongst like every generation kind of.
But this is a different generation than all previous ones, because all previous ones still sort of had the timetable, the memory recall, the learning of that. We're the first generation that had the hybrid of technology being introduced to help us easily. What was that?
New step word in the step dictionary.
Step dictionary. What? I don't know. Their brains are just being right. Like the new generations and the kids going forward, like society going forward, is going to have a new wiring of their brains for sure with technology in them.
Absolutely.
For sure. It's going to be interesting, but for right now, it's just like
Oh my God. In like 10 years, we're never going to understand what they say even more because it's all going to be acronyms.
Exactly.
OMG, WTF.
LOL.
IDGAF.
Limfow. Yep. That's signs that we are old, Lindsay.
I saw that post on Facebook today that said, how old are you going to be on your next birthday? And I almost commented, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. Because then my next one is fucking 40. And I'm like, nope.
You know, it's sadder. I got my passport when I turned 30. And I was like, oh, I'll have my passport until I'm 40. Like, it's a 10-year passport. I am now way closer to the expiry date than I am to when I got it.
We're closer to 2050 than we are to 1990.
Jeez. I don't know. And I know it's totally off topic, but I was doing the research for one of our future episodes in the Britney and going back and watching from the 2000s of one of her concerts, there's kids in the audience. And I took a snapshot and I was like, I wonder what these girls look like now. This was 20 years ago. And that was like,
they're probably like,
these girls are, or some of them were our age. Cause we were only like 15. Like these girls are our age. And I'm just like, I wonder what these girls are doing, what they look like
what are
now,
they doing now?
Right. It's so weird because there it is. They're frozen in time forever at 15 on this video. You can find it on YouTube. It was aired on Much Music all the time. And you're just like, oh my God, it's so
it's
weird.
The same thing.
To be old. I don't know.
When I watched, I'm not ashamed to admit it, not long ago, I watched Tulsa, Tokyo in the middle of nowhere on my VHS, on my VCR, and they showed clips of Psycho Blast.
Oh my gosh.
And those girls, I'm just like, I was 13 when this was recorded, girls. And I'm just like, I could just imagine if I were there that day. Because you know what? I think Susie and her sisters are on that tape.
Oh yeah. I'm
pretty sure they are, because I'm positive that was the Psycho Blast that they went to. And so it's like just the fact that like you're imprinted on this video forever
at that age. Yes.
And what boggles my mind is that it does not boggle the mind of today's young generation, because their entire lives
is all online, has all been online, has all been videos, is all
how many baby pictures do you have of yourself? They have thousands. I have a baby book, like a few pages.
Oh, baby's doing something cute. Baby's doing something cute. No, our parents had 24 pictures at a time to get us.
I have more pictures
if they were lucky. If they were lucky and got the longer one of 36, but usually 24 pictures at a time, and it cost them $5.99 to get them developed every time.
I have more pictures of my dog that I've had for a year and a half than my parents have of me my entire life.
Exactly. So
like,
I know it's something that these kids just won't really, they don't get quite the same. And that's why I kind of like being part of that millennial generation, because we were the last set of group to experience that, but also we adapted to all the technologies just as easily. Like if a new technology comes out, we can still adapt to it easier than a Gen X or a boomer can, just because we were so used to adapting to what is the newest at the time.
I'm wondering if that's one of the main reasons why I fucking hate it when technology advances. Like, super unpopular opinion here. I'm like an old lady. I don't want to learn new technology in order to survive in this world. Like,
oh, see, I have no problem.
I'm sorry. I don't have the fucking brain capacity or patience for that anymore. And I think maybe it's because we've had to adapt to so much evolution of technology so quickly in our last 25 years that I just I've had hatred of technology, though my life depends on it. It's really sad.
I don't adapt super fast, but there's some, like for something like TikTok, I was like, I don't like, during the pandemic, everyone went to it. And I was like, I don't want to. The only reason I did it was eventually because, you know, the podcast and stuff, it's good to have or whatever. And we did one with the dogs. The dogs had their own TikTok because they were always doing funny stuff. I'm considering
starting one for my animals.
For the animals, it's better because they always do stupid stuff. And it's funny to put those videos somewhere so people can see the awesome puppies. But like Snapchat, I didn't get on right away, but I still, once they came out, it's still easy to figure these things out. It's just whether we want to actually figure them out is the thing.
Yeah, like you saw how hard I fought against fucking Instagram, but now I'm actually checking it every day and like posting shit. And
it's not.
I'm not doing stories because I still don't fucking understand how those fucking work.
So posts are things you want to stay. Stories is something that's
what I just don't understand. Why do these stories fucking exist? Why do you only want to post content that's only going to exist for 24 fucking hours? What's the point? Exactly. You don't have an answer because it's stupid.
It's a younger generational thing. I don't get it.
Because they have no fucking attention span. Yeah. That's what I thought.
I guess maybe because the kids can always look at this one, but those stories are things that, oh, only the special people, if they caught it, got to see the silly thing that I was doing.
On the internet, it's gonna last for fucking ever. Do you know how many articles I read that have to do with like TikTok videos?
And now there's reels, which is because of TikTok on Instagram, and now TikTok now has stories, and it's just like, if all of them are just doing the same, like the point of them was they were all different. If they all start doing the same thing, what's the point of having 15 different social medias?
That's why I stick with Facebook.
Yeah, but it's so old.
So am I. Whatever.
So I don't know if there's any much more about Sweet 16 though, that we kind of got off tangent, as we always do.
Yeah, we always do that. So.
I mean, also at Sweet 16 in our generation, it was also kind of around when you might have been able, like when you got your first job, you also might have got your first cell phone too.
That's true. Yeah.
Possibly, because it was 2000s were basically when consumer phones were coming out and kids were wanting them more often.
I didn't get my first cell phone until I was 19. So this was the year 2002. So and it was like that little tiny Motorola. It was like 2 inches long.
You and Ashley had it?
Centimeter and a half. Yeah, Ashley had the same one. The screen was like a fucking like an inch squared. You had the text where you had to like hit
T9,
the number 9. Yeah, the T9 texting. Took for fucking ever to text. Thank God for voice to text now. Holy shit. Trying to like type stuff out.
You don't like technology, but you do voice to text?
Yes.
I don't even do voice to text, and I'm a technology person.
Well, it depends on what I'm doing at the time. If I have a lot to say, I don't want to fucking whatever. But if it's literally just like a yep, okay, or what are we doing this weekend or something like that, I'm gonna text it with my fingers.
I've never done voice to text. Kevin loves it.
Or I do the vocal search on my TV. Aaron saw me do it for the first time like yesterday.
Yeah.
Blew his fucking mind.
So
I do it all the time.
So I turned out I did this. So my old Fitbit, you could pick it up and it would ring and you would hit pick up, but it would pick up on the phone. I did the same thing on Kevin because I was trying to get to the phone. I went to go pick up and I'm like, hold on, I'm coming. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, hello. And he's like, what? And I was like, I could talk
on your
phone. I can talk into my Fitbit as I'm like a Power Ranger. It's my Power Ranger.
That's awesome. It's your fucking it's your communicator.
Right?
Yes.
This is the best thing ever. I love this Fitbit watch.
I wonder if mine can do that. Probably not. Mine probably can't do that.
I know this is the first time I've seen it on these ones because I know the first 2 verses didn't, and this is the Sense.
I have the Inspire, so
maybe it might not. I don't know. You'd have to double check. But I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
But that's fucking awesome.
Right?
That's like you could turn it around and you could go all like secret agents, like talking to your sleeve.
Right?
Right? That's fucking awesome.
So I was so stoked about it. It was the greatest day ever.
People are like, are you CIA?
Yes, I am.
Can't tell you. I'd have to kill you.
He's on the move. So yeah, I feel like again we go on tangents because that's just how we roll. So I think, is there anything else related to 16 that we could go and talk about?
But I don't know.
I feel like there's probably some songs that were inspired by being 16 and I don't know.
I'm sure I'll think of them like later on and text you and just be like, damn it, Steph, we didn't fucking talk about this. As it always happens.
That's how it always happens, because we sort of plan and then we just forget in the moments that happens.
Yeah. And
except for with that
procrastinator, so I don't make notes or anything. Yeah.
I usually make my notes way ahead and then I forget to look at it before for a while.
Thought of something. 16 and pregnant count.
Oh, that is true. Because
how about we not have these shows? And glamorize this life.
Teen moms, 16 and pregnant.
I know a few teen moms that killed it, that nailed it. Like Lorelai Gilmore kind of were successful at it. But unfortunately, the majority of them
a fiction also.
That's not the case.
When you have fiction, you can make whatever happen. Let's be real. In real life, that's not usually the case. But yes, please, children, do not let these shows, teen moms, 16 and pregnant, glorify you. These
wear condoms.
These pregnancy packs they had back in the day, like if you want to practice, if you want to practice abstinence, that's so be it. But don't force it upon kids, because I feel like that's just gonna go too far upon the other way. But if you are, just be safe, kids. Just wear condoms. Be safe.
Education, knowledge is power.
Always, and it's at your fingertips at all times, kids.
Literally.
You don't understand the amount of knowledge you have versus what we had at your age. So
use it, guys.
Use it wisely. Use it wisely. So I think that's it for us on our 16th birthday episode.
Man, what I wouldn't give to not be 16 again.
Right? That's not, I would go back to like maybe somewhere in my 20s, but 16 I'm okay with. No.
I'm not, you couldn't pay me enough to be a teenager again.
No.
Especially today, especially in this day and age. Because, oh my God, like.
Put me back in the 90s?
I was such a conceited little shit as a teenager that.
A little bit.
Understatement. I was fucking conceited. I was so full of myself. Like, let's be honest stuff. Like, yeah, I was conceited. When someone would call me conceited, I was like, bitch, don't confuse conceited for confidence. Yeah, I was fucking conceited. So let's say I will not be a teenager again, but maybe early to mid 20s.
I would do my 20s.
Somewhere in there.
I would definitely do 20s because 20s overall were pretty good. Or there'd be, was that 20s?
Or you know what? How's the life I have now in my 20s?
I was gonna say, because there's one person, but I think he was it just after I turned 30 that would be, no, I think that was a stupid mistake in my 30s.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I think that was because you came Oktoberfesting with us. I think that might have been my mistake and I was either 29 or 30. I can't remember, but that would be the only one I would get rid of.
I think the only thing I might have changed as a teenager was I probably wouldn't have cut my hair so short. I wouldn't have gotten a pixie cut. Not that I didn't like it, because I did love it. I did love it because it looked good when it was done, but I was too lazy for that hairstyle.
What I would probably change, just not because of the friends, but just because of the experience would be different, was Jordan. Because of him being 4 years older than me, I think if I dated someone that was closer to my age, I would have had a different teenage experience. I feel like that would be the one thing I would change. Not in a bad way, because I loved the friends. I love the outcome that came, but I would just like to see what my life would have been like if, like, so when I was like with Will, if we stayed together for longer, he was only a year older than me, like how that would have panned out for life. That would be the only change I maybe would make, but I still wouldn't, trade it for anything.
I feel the same way about my first mistake.
But we've all been there.
Every girl has a guy she regrets. I'm sure every guy has a girl they regret. And
we're only humans,
or same gender they regret as well.
I have a dog.
I don't want to leave anyone out. So
I have a dog whining at the door. Oh, it's so funny because he wants and he hears me talking. He doesn't like when doors are closed.
Oh, too bad. Get over it, Riley.
Zeus.
Sorry, Zeus.
Yeah, it's Zeus.
Oh yeah. He has separation anxiety.
He does. On that note,
I guess that concludes our episode. Yay.
Happy sweet 16 to us, and we'll make it to 21. Legal drinking age in the States one day.
Oh my gosh, I can hear Zeus.
So on that note,
hold on, Zeus, she's coming.
We're coming, guys. You get to hear my puppy.
We gotta say bye-bye. Our puppies need our attention.
On that note, podcast world, we will catch you next week.
Yeah, man. Check you next episode.
All right. Peace out. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked it, be sure to check out our previous episodes on our website at www.millennialspod.com. And also you can check them out on Spotify, Anchor, Google, or Apple Podcasts. While you're there, hit the follow and subscribe buttons so you can stay up to date on all of our latest episodes. Also, you can follow us on all of the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Turn of the Millennials Pod, and like us on Facebook to leave a comment and a review. We greatly appreciate it. We will see you next episode.